Hi, I'm Nicole Haugen, Catholic nurse coach, and today I just wanted to talk a little bit about Roe v. Wade being overturned. So, we know that when we talk to our brain and when we are trying to be an observer of our thoughts, that we want to make sure that the circumstance we're going to talk about is neutral. So, our brain is very smart, it wants to keep us alive. Our primitive brain has been made, which it's a beautiful thing. It's been made to keep us alive. It looks for pleasure, food, safety. So, back when we were created, we had to stay safe to survive. So, our brain would look for tigers that would eat us. And now, in our modern world, we don't have tigers most of the time jumping out at us to attack us, but our brain still looks for ways to make us safe. So now, since we don't have literal tigers, our brain thinks that different circumstances in our life are a tiger and we have to stay safe. So we're going to talk about Roe v. Wade being overturned. We know that it is a neutral circumstance because you can have a thought that makes you happy about it, or you could have a thought that makes you upset about it. So there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, on different Facebook groups, different Instagram accounts, message boards, and people have a lot of thoughts that are happening right now, and it's making them feel a certain way. One thing that I saw came up that kind of resonated with me, and why I wanted to come on here and talk to you nurses about it is, how do you show up for work being professional when everybody's talking about the Roe v. Wade thing, right? So our circumstance is Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court. You could have a thought, we have a lot of thoughts going on. I don't want people to be angry. I want to avoid confrontation. I want to say the right thing. But the thought I chose to go with today was, I don't want people to judge me. Especially as a Catholic, I think when you say the word Catholic, a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about that. So I don't want people to judge me. You feel nervous when you go to work. You show up timid. You don't say anything to your coworkers. You maybe even avoid your coworkers. When you do say something that's awkward and forced, you have a nervous energy about you. And your result is you're showing up in a way where you're judging others, and even more, you're judging yourself. So I learned this at age 35. If anything else that you learn that our thoughts are what create our results. If we go into work thinking, I don't want people to judge me, we're going to create that result, right? We're going to show up as a person that if you saw that person being awkward and avoiding everybody, you would certainly have some thoughts about them. Maybe not necessarily judgmental thoughts, but you would definitely have some thoughts about it. So when you think that, that's how you show up. That's the result that you create. The circumstance isn't what creates that. Your thought is what creates those actions. So we're going to switch to an intentional model. And so the same situation, circumstance, Roe v. Wade got overturned by the Supreme Court. If you had the thought going into work, everyone is learning how to cope with this. And the this in this is the Roe v. Wade being overturned. Everyone is learning how to cope with this. So I use the word cope because I think that it's appropriate in this situation. I have seen, again, there's a lot of different feelings and thoughts on this. I have also seen that women that were at one point offered abortions or tried to be convinced into having an abortion due to their pregnancy, or if you ever did have an abortion. This is bringing up a lot of things. I think that the word cope kind of appropriately assesses the situation. So everyone is learning how to cope with this. We have never, well, at least in my lifetime, I have never lived in a world where the possibility of abortion being illegal is even an option or even a thought, right? It's been legal my whole lifetime. So everyone is learning how to cope with this. You go into work feeling compassion. You don't hide. You don't speak from a nervous energy. You show up work to peace. In conversation, you choose how to show up. You just feel relaxed about it. Like we're all going through this together. We're having this human experience together, and we're learning how to do this together. And your result is you're learning how to cope with this. I think oftentimes we are trying to resist reality, and we think this shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't have happened. Or somebody shouldn't be thinking this because this is so obvious. When the reality is there are people on both sides of this. So the other truth that we know is that God is in control of the outcome. God is in control. And so in these two examples, your thought can be the difference on how you show up for the day. When you think God is in control of this, you don't show up from that nervous, frantic energy. You show up from a place of, I want to be compassionate. If God's in control of this, how can I bring more love to the world? How can I show compassion no matter where that person is at in their situation and circumstance? Our thoughts are what drive our outcome. And overall, God is in control of all the outcomes. So I hope you have a blessed day. I'm praying for you, and let's go change our world.